as promised to one of my subscribers, Addie King-23, I believe I pronounced your name right. This is a huge shout out to you for giving me my first video request to talk about working through, also known as coping with the effects of being abused. Any kind of abuse, mental, physical, sexual, any other abuse you can maybe think of that I might have missed. As stated before, I am absolutely no doctor. But from my experience and my personal research, as usual, there are so many different ways that you can cope or work through your effects with being abused. It doesn't always have to be alcohol and drugs either. I'm not on either, and I have my own things that I do to work through my issues and stuff that I have been through. As people like to preach to me all the time, go to therapy, talk things out, but it also helps to be open and honest as well. Get on meds to help with your anxiety, depression, because of the abuse that you've been through. Don't like doctors, such as myself, can't trust them, can't afford them, no insurance to cover. The other options that you can do include, but probably not limited to, listening to upbeat music, you know, keep that blood flowing in your, make yourself move, dance, you know, have some fun, hang around positive people if you're a social person. Me, I have chosen and learned to, as hard as it's been for me, because I have always looked for a connection with somebody else, I've actually learned to accept that maybe I'm just meant to be alone. And I've learned to look at it as, oh, good, you know, less drama, less bullcrap, less ways to get hurt. And maybe I'm just meant to do this for you guys, you know, try to help you guys make an impact, try to help you out through your issues. You know, everybody always said I had a big heart, that I had so much love to give. And of course I thought before that it was just supposed to be for a guy, you know, and now I realize what it's for, so here I am. Exercising helps too. Like, when I've done exercising in the past, and granted I can't really do it much more because of my physical issues, but it actually did help make me feel better after I worked through the tiredness of doing it. Yoga, there's even chair exercises you can look up. Don't even really have to move or get up to do them. So exercising helps. Find comfort foods once in a while. You don't want to like overdo it or underdo it, you know. You don't want to end up being obese or having an eating disorder because you didn't learn what your limits are. But yeah, so comfort food, find some. For me, what helps me is I am into art. You know, let me show you. I do things like this, and some of the people who actually know me know what these are and have seen me work on them. See that? It's a diamond painting. Very, very time consuming. You can find these on Amazon. You can find some on at Walmart even, or Hobby Lobby or someplace like that. But those are very time consuming. You gotta have some patience to work on those. And coming from me, who doesn't have any apparently, especially when it comes to people, or even myself sometimes, but yeah, it calms me, you know, it keeps me occupied. Or I even like to draw. Find some comedy shows, movies. Like I said, always keep your mind in a positive mindset. Talk to a best friend, someone you know you can trust. But again, you have to be open and honest. You have to be willing to talk about it as well. Just don't care what other people think about you anymore. They obviously don't care about what you think about them. So why care what they think about you? You know, I've just learned that it's best to stop caring what other people think when it comes to you. And make sure, you know, keep in mind that we are all different. We all cope differently. We all work through issues differently. Some of our abuse was worse than others. Some of us have been through more than others, you know. So you have to really find what works for you. Find what you enjoy. I understand that depression can get you to the point where you don't want to get up and do nothing. I've been there, done that. But then I thought, okay, what motivates me to keep going? Mostly for me, it's my 3 nephews. If it wasn't for them, if they weren't here on Earth, I don't really know where I would be right now. So once you do find something that you're comfortable with, that works with you, or that you think might work for you, be consistent about it. Give it some time to actually work through. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to help you overnight. But if you start it one day and then you feel even a little bit better just for that day, then that means it worked. Keep pushing forward. You know, set reminders in your phone if you have to remind yourself of certain days, certain times, to do whatever it is that works for you, and be consistent about it. Give it a month before you decide to give up on it. And be like, and again, it's all about self-awareness too. So make sure you're being self-aware and noticing changes in you before you decide to say, oh, this isn't working, blah, 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 blah. You don't know. You got to give it some time, you know, and be consistent with it. Also, another thing that helps me too is thinking of a celebrity that you might idolize. Like for me, it's Eminem. I mean, he's lived in dark times. His songs are mainly his life, right? Like, and he speaks the truth in his songs and stuff that he's gone through. So if you listen closely to his words, he's been through a lot too. When I'm doing this, the song I think of is Not Afraid, because here I am taking a stand. So just think about a celebrity you idolize. Think about what they have gone through to get to where they're at, because if they can do it, we definitely can too, even if we don't have a support system, you know. So again, just keep in mind, things won't happen overnight. You gotta be patient with yourself. You gotta be patient with what it is you're doing. Pat yourself on the back. Reward yourself. There's nothing wrong with rewarding yourself once in a while, or, you know, saying, good job, self, you know. It's not like you have anybody else there doing it for you, right? You got to learn to, I guess, in some ways, be your own best friend sometimes. Also, if you believe in God, or if you have a religion, pray. I hear that prayer helps. Once in a while, I will pray. Not always, but once in a while. And I do believe in God. I believe in Christianity. But if you believe, pray. Talk to God. Go to church. Find emotional support groups that you can join to talk about your issues, family feelings, and all of that, or what feelings you think you might be having. If you don't feel comfortable talking about anything, do a journal. You know, just write stuff down. If you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to or anybody that you can trust, I have been told that it also helps to talk to strangers sometimes. People that are not always in the know with you, you know. Now, like I said before, one of my posts on my feed, well, I didn't say it like this, but I am going to say it now. If you guys feel like you have absolutely nobody to talk to, nobody you can trust, I would be more than happy to be in listening ear. Might not be the best at giving advice, or maybe I am doing some good. I would be happy to give you my contact information, but you would have to do your research on trying to find me. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. Send me a message. Let me know where you're from. That way I know. And that way I know it's not just some other scam. Let me know you need somebody to talk to, and I'll be there. Keep in mind it's free, and I'm just doing this from my heart because I know, God, do I know what it's like to feel like you absolutely have nobody you can go to. Excuse me. One of the biggest things, too, that has helped me, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for being in those situations. Like when you were a kid, unfortunately, you had no control of being able to get yourself out of those situations, you know. Like adults nowadays are always like, well, why do you keep putting yourself in this situation, blah, blah, blah. You need to get yourself out of it. Even some adults still have a hard time letting go of certain situations because, oh, they love this person or they're so attached to them or whatever. But it's just like, forgive yourself for trying to have a good enough heart to stick around because, you know, you're too afraid to stand up for yourself. And forgive others. That's one of the hardest things that people have, you know. A lot of people are not forgiving, and I have learned that so many times. But forgive others too. Even if you feel like you haven't been forgiven for certain situations, or even if you feel like they won't care about your forgiveness because they're not forgiving, just forgive them anyway. And especially what's been the hardest thing for me is accepting the fact that I may never get any apologies that I actually deserve, no matter how many times I try to apologize to people and do right by them. You know, I may never get the apologies I deserve, but yet here I am doing this for everyone in the world. Obviously, I still forgive people, no matter how hard it might be for me. One other thing I would like to add that could possibly help you work through, get yourself some self-help books if you like to read. Libraries, stores like Walmart, bookstores, so on and so forth. Or even look up some stuff online. That might help you in your situation because, again, we're all different. Yes, we are all human, but we all cope differently. We have all been through different things, some worse than others. We're all messed up, honestly, we really are. Like, it's just a matter of people actually admitting it to themselves. It's funny because people used to call me crazy all the time, but, you know, that came from alcoholics and drug addicts and stuff like that. So it's like, really, am I the one that needs help? I'm the one who's got a clear mind, really. Like, I'm clean. So maybe I need help because I'm not coping the same way you are. I'm not as cool as you are because you're on drugs and alcohol instead of trying to build your confidence up in a sober way. Yeah, something to think about. Anyway, so Addie King 23, this was for you. Again, thank you so much. If you need me to talk more about it, let me know. Like I said in my previous video regarding physical abuse, tell me, what do you guys think? Sexual abuse or depression for my next topic? Thank you and have a wonderful day, guys. And remember, always, always be kind, please. Thank you.